There is a deity in this temple that was stolen, taken to Delhi, given to a princess as a toy. And when a saint finally came to take it back, the king showed him his entire collection, hundreds of idols, thousands of stolen objects. But the deity was not there. By the end of this episode, you will understand where it was and who was hiding it. This is episode 3 of the Melukote series. And this is the story most people never heard. For centuries, the Cheluvanarayana Swamy Temple at Melukote was one of the most sacred Vaishnava shrines in South India. The deity worshipped by Lord Rama, then Lord Krishna, then passed through generations until it came to rest here on this hill in Karnataka. Thousands of pilgrims came every year. Kings sent gifts. Scholars came to study. The town thrived. And then the temple was attacked during an invasion. The Mulava, the main stone deity, was buried under rubble, covered by debris, hidden beneath a mound that eventually grew over the ruins. And the utsava murti, the small metal idol, the one traditionally associated with Lord Rama, was taken away. Nobody knew where. For years, pilgrims came to a temple whose most sacred processional deity was missing. And then Ramanujacharya arrived in Melukote. He was already one of the greatest philosophers of the Vaishnava tradition. He had fled from Srirangam to escape persecution by the Chola king, who had turned against the Vaishnavas. He came to Melukote and began rebuilding what had been destroyed. And one night, Lord Viṣṇu appeared in his dream and told him, "Your utsava murti is in Delhi. Go, bring it back." A divine instruction in a dream to a 12th century saint to travel from Karnataka to Delhi. Ramanujacharya went. He walked into the court of Muhammad Shah. The king received him with respect and opened his treasury. Hundreds of idols, confiscated from temples across India. Ramanujacharya walked through them all, searching every face, every form, every idol. The deity was not there. He went back to his quarters, devastated. And that night, Lord Viṣṇu appeared in his dream again and said, "I am in the palace of the princess. The princess's palace, not the treasury, the palace." The next morning, Ramanujacharya told Muhammad Shah. The king was surprised. What would a Hindu deity be doing in his daughter's private chambers? He took Ramanujacharya to the princess, and there, in the middle of her room, was the utsava murti, surrounded by flowers, with an oil lamp burning in front of it. The princess, who had been given a Hindu deity as a toy, had never played with it. Instead, she had worshipped it every single day, without being asked, without being told, just because something in her recognized that this was not an ordinary object. This was sacred. Muhammad Shah agreed to return the idol, but his daughter, Bibi Nachiyar, was heartbroken. Nobody had asked her, nobody had consulted her, and the deity she had loved was being taken away. Ramanujacharya left Delhi with the utsava murti and began the long journey back to Karnataka. Bibi Nachiyar did not stay behind. She followed Ramanujacharya from Delhi to Karnataka on horseback across hundreds of kilometers in search of the deity she loved. She reached Melukote. She entered the temple. She saw the utsava murti installed on the altar, and she collapsed. According to the tradition, her soul, in the form of a flame, merged with the idol. She became one with the deity she had loved. And Ramanujacharya, in honor of her devotion, installed her idol at the feet of the same deity, where it remains today, worshipped alongside the Lord she followed. From Delhi to Karnataka to eternity, a Muslim princess, worshipped in a Hindu temple. For centuries, her idol at the feet of the deity she loved, still there, still worshipped, every single morning. But the story of Ramanujacharya in Melukote did not end with the utsava murti, because the Mulava, the main stone deity, was still missing, still buried somewhere under the rubble and the mound that had grown over the ruins. Ramanujacharya gathered his disciples and performed milk abhishekam on the mound, pouring sacred milk over it, chanting, praying, believing, and according to the tradition, the Mulava revealed itself from inside the mound, hidden for centuries, found by faith. Ramanujacharya then turned to Hoysala King Viṣṇu Vardhana the same king associated with the great Hoysala monuments at Belu, the same ruler whose story Journey Jodi told you in the Hoysala series. And with Vishnu Vardhana's patronage, the temple was rebuilt and developed. Ramanujacharya remained in Melukote, teaching, reforming, building, transforming the town into one of the great centers of Vaishnav learning in South India. And that is why, when you walk through Melukote today, you are not simply walking through a temple. You are walking through a story of a lost deity, a saint, a king, and a princess whose devotion became part of the temple itself. Today, Bibi Nachiyar's idol sits at the feet of the deity. The Mulavar stands in the sanctum, and the utsava murti, the deity traditionally said to have been brought back from Delhi, is taken out in procession during festivals. The story survived, the worship survived, and Melukote survived. But there is another side to this story, and this is where history gets complicated. Melukote has a long archaeological and inscriptional record. The Karnataka Directorate of Archaeology and Museums even published a dedicated archaeological and historical study of the temple. And more than 100 inscriptions from Melukote have been documented and studied. But these historical records do not allow us to independently verify every detail of the Bibi Nachiyar story. The journey to Delhi, the recovery of the utsava murti, and Bibi Nachiyar following the deity to Melukote. These survive primarily through the temple's religious and literary tradition. There's also a chronological problem with the traditional account, especially when the story is connected with a Delhi ruler and the dates traditionally assigned to Ramanujacharya. So what actually happened? Did the journey happen exactly as the tradition tells us? Did Bibi Nachiyar really follow the deity from Delhi? Or did generations of devotees preserve an older memory and transform it into the sacred story we know today? We don't have enough evidence to answer every detail with certainty. And that's where I leave the choice to you. You can see it as a sacred tradition passed down through generations. Or you can look at it through archaeology, inscriptions, and historical chronology and separate what can be established from what belongs to faith and tradition. Because history gives us evidence, tradition gives us memory, and Melukote has preserved both. What do you believe? I leave that to you. Follow Journey Jodi, because episode 4 is the story of the saint who changed everything. Ramanujacharya didn't just bring a deity back to Melukote. He stayed here for years. He challenged social barriers. He transformed the way people worshipped. And he formed a connection with a Hoysala king, Vishnu Vardhana, the same king whose story we told in the Hoysala series. And what Ramanujacharya did in those years would change Melukote forever. A saint traveled for a deity. A princess followed for love. And both are still remembered in the same temple. Centuries later, if this story moved you, send it to one person today. Just one. Because Bibi Nachiyar's story survived for centuries. The least we can do is make sure it survives another generation. Comment Melukote if this story gave you goosebumps.